Throughout all the lands, the enemies sit there in perfect peace, with nothing to ruin their day, until they are attacked by the jelly. Hello, and welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'll be creating special transformations for the player that they can take control of. So now when exploring levels, the player can sometimes come across a wrecked machine. It could be a machine or other things, but it will pretty much always be wrecked and will allow the player to interact with them. Now upon interacting, the player will absorb the machine and taking control of it for itself. And I've made a total of 3 of these machines. The first one I've made is the robot. The robot has several main capabilities, as it can, as always, move, but also upon running into any breakable surface, it will destroy it instantly. And the robot also is unable to take any damage from any enemies. As shown, it instead just flicks the enemy away. The robot also has had this arm moving around the entire time that follows the mouse, and also will shoot a missile that will destroy the same things the robot normally can. Since the robot doesn't have many clear weaknesses, instead has a timer that's displayed by a meter on its chest. This will slowly go down once you've exited out the caves to make sure that you can actually progress further, and it'll tick down. Eventually, once it fully empties out, the robot will be destroyed. But the robot is not the only transformation that the player can access, as there are 2 others. One of them being a gear that the player can take. The gear is able to go through destructible terrain like the robot, but the gear excels in going really fast. Though if the gear is going fast enough and it runs into a wall, it will get destroyed. The gear also, when jumping, will actually bounce on the ground instead of just landing normally. With the gear right now, there's no way for you to get out of the gear if there's no wall nearby. So additionally, if you try to crouch, you'll start to lose parts and eventually just fully lose the gear and go back to the normal player. The robot also goes back to the normal player when it runs out of it. In addition to the gear, there's one more finished transformation that the player can have, which this final one so far is a blimp, which of course can be taken control of. The player enters a blimp. The blimp is able to move around the skies with fairly ease, but it's not the fastest. As seen, the blimp moves fairly slowly. The blimp also, when running into any fruit, will pick the fruit up. It is able to pick up to 5 fruit before it is full. Additionally, the blimp is by far the weakest transformation. If it bumps into any wall at any speed, it will take damage and get flung away from the wall of it, with it losing some parts, as seen, every 3 hits out of its total 20 health. And the main reason for the blimp able to pick up fruit up to 5 is it's able to go to these stations where it drops off the food and receives some coins in exchange. And these coins are given to the player, which with each station only be able to use once. Additionally, the coins that each station will give you when you give it fruit is actually determined by the station. And instead of it being random, the station has certain fruits that it likes and certain fruits that it doesn't like, with it also having a base coin amount that it will give if one of the fruits is not one of its disliked or preferred fruits. That is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you in the next video. Goodbye.